So hey guys, and welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm back doing another interview and I'm here with Nick Campbell. Nick, how are you, lad?
Yeah, good mate.
Great.
Like we were talking about off camera, I'm proud to hear that I'm your first Scottish guest, so that's just perked me up.
Yes, definitely, and like I also said, representing the Scottish nation for this channel, I suppose.
Aye, yeah, listen, I'm happy to represent Scotland in any forum, so aye,
Yeah,
I'm proud Scot.
yeah. I was going to say you seem like a very proud Scot, which I do like to see the people representing their country being proud.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I think all Scots are proud to be Scottish, so you're flying the flag for them. We're only a small nation, but we punch above our weight, so
Definitely.
aye, proud to represent the country.
And so, am I right in saying you're 32, you're a heavyweight, and you're 5-0?
Correct.
Great. Okay, and if you're on your round here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, the question which I always like to start off with is, who inspired you to get into boxing?
Yeah, so my grandfather was actually a professional boxer back in
All
the
right.
1950s.
Mhm.
And obviously boxing's quite a big part of my family. We're all keen boxing fans. We all watched the fighting. We all watched shows. So ever since I was young, I'd always had an interest in boxing. And also, obviously, I looked up to my grandfather. He was a real inspiration to me growing up. And I used to hear all the, stories about him in his younger days and different things like that. So I suppose that's where I got my interest in boxing.
Definitely.
I was a professional rugby player
All right.
before I boxed. So I did do a bit of boxing training alongside my rugby, but rugby was obviously my main focus growing up as a kid. And then I got to the end of my last contract as a professional over in Jersey and decided that I was going to give up rugby and have a go at boxing and see how far I could go.
So, is that just kind of like, did you get bored of rugby, or did you just want to change in path?
No, listen, I suppose I had been a professional since I was 19 years old, so I'd been taking rugby pretty seriously since I was about 14, 15. I guess you don't fall. Don't want to say fall out of love with the sport, but I was ready for a new challenge. I always had a kind of desire to really push myself and see how far I could go as a boxer. And I was 27 at the time. It was back in 2017, so I just decided that it's now or never. You either do this or you just bury it and let it go. And I thought, you know what, I'd rather sit here 20, 30 years from now and think I managed to achieve that than what could I have achieved. So that was the kind of driving force behind my decision.
Definitely, and I suppose in a way it is inspirational to certain people, because for a lot of people they'll start a lot earlier, and if they get to like 25 to 27 they'll probably think, oh, it's too late now, I can't go and do it. But you've proven the fact that you can start at any age and you can do well in the sport.
Yeah, listen, I think I'm very lucky as well. I've had a lot of good breaks early on in my career. I've got a great manager in Mark Dunlop, who's managed to get me some amazing opportunities and stuff like that. But I'm a big believer that if you work hard, dedicate yourself to something, it's amazing what you can achieve. Uh, that would be my only kind of advice to anybody out there in any field, whether that be sport, business, education, anything. If you give 100% to whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you'll be really amazed you can actually achieve and how far you can go. So if that's an inspiration to people, it's a big bonus for me, and I'm glad to hear that some people might think that.
Yeah, definitely. And so, did you go down the amateur route?
Yeah, I boxed 4 years as an amateur. I became the Scottish novice, intermediate, Scottish elite champion.
Right.
Uh, Went on to box for Scotland internationally. Trained all over the world: Thailand, Russia, Poland, down at Sheffield with Scotland at the GB setup. Fought in the Best of British, the GB, Four Nations. I done quite a lot. I only had 15 amateur fights, but I managed to get quite a lot into that time. And I think obviously having a background in helped me. I never had a background in professional sport, it would have probably been quite unrealistic to think that I could have switched over to another sport. But I think obviously being dedicated to training and disciplining myself from a young age has helped me. Mm-hmm. But I tried to learn and do as much and get as much experience as I possibly could as an amateur.
No, and I respect that even as a pro, you've proven it. The fact of you do just throw yourself straight into the deep end, and to have only 16 professional fights, amateur fights, and to achieve what you did shows that you weren't kind of trying to pick your fights and just slowly work up the rankings. You were happy to go straight into the deep end.
Yeah, listen, I think my first couple of fights as a pro were about finding my feet. I obviously got a massive opportunity on a big platform in the Matchroom show for my debut. Mm-hmm. I think my last fight, I fought a guy, Jay McFarlane, who's 18 fights as a pro. I think he was 12-5 going into the fight, so he's a winning record and a tough guy. He'd never been stopped before. He was the Scottish cruiserweight champion, and listen, he might be younger than me, but he was more experienced than me in a professional boxing sense. So I think to take that opportunity and have a go. Everything's all about calculated risk, and I felt that it was something I could do and achieve. So that's what I went out and done, and I think I've done it quite convincingly.
Definitely. And so you spoke about the last fight which you had, and you've had the 5 fights, you've won all of them, but I was wondering, which fight would you say you've performed your best in?
I don't know. It's quite a hard question. I'm quite self-critical. Mm-hmm. I try and look for work-ons rather than what I done well. I always try and look for what I can improve on. But I feel as if just my last fight, I ticked a lot of boxes in terms of showing that I've got a bit of grit and I can dig in. It was over the 10 rounds. It stopped in the 7th. It was against a tough game opponent. So I feel as if most of the hard work is done in training at this stage in my career and sparring, working with my trainer Dan. But I feel as if I ticked quite a lot of boxes, important boxes, in the fight against Jay for the Scottish title. Definitely. So I would go with that as being my kind of best performance to date.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose that's you spoke about being self-critical. I suppose that's also going to be helped by the fact that you used to play your previous sports, and I suppose also it means that you believe that the best is yet to come for you.
No, definitely. I think in anything, it's like I say, I don't want to get too cliched here, but anything in life, if you look for what you've done well and you don't look at for what you need to improve in, mm-hmm. That'll be a short career, whatever you're doing. So I'm always constantly trying to look in areas to improve my performance and things that I can look to improve in general in any aspect of my life. So that's what I try and do day in, day out, and be the best that I can, really.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And so from what I saw, I saw you from your last fight and you did look very impressive there, but I also found out, if I'm right in saying, you've got a 100% KO ratio, and I was just kind of wondering if that power's always been with you, or if you've had to kind of learn how to use it better.
No, listen, I'm a big lad. I've always been a big guy, so I've always carried a bit of natural power with me. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things I would say from turning over to rugby to boxing is my body shape and my composition has changed completely. I was 122, 123 kilos.
Right.
In my rugby days, I'm about 118, 117 kilos now.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I've leaned up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think my punching technique, my punching power has improved vastly since I. So, listen, like I say, you're in the heavyweight division, so all it takes is one punch, and the fight can all change. But I back my power. I'm a fit guy. I train really hard, and I'd like to think that if I can put a bit of exerted pressure on anyone, I would be posing them questions and put them in trouble.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And so you've now got a contract with Sky, which your last fight was on, and I was wondering, what is it like working with Sky?
Yeah, well, like I say, I've been incredibly lucky. In my short professional career, I've managed to have 3 fights on TV. So my debut, mm-hmm. my 4th fight, and then my 5th fight there, both all live on Sky. So they're the biggest the biggest sports TV company in the planet, I think. Anything that's worth watching is always on Sky Sports. And just the professionalism, everything you don't realise when you're watching it on the TV, what's going on behind the scenes is incredible, and it was a real eye-opener. But to be honest, it's something that once you've been involved in it, you kind of crave more of it, because it's always such a massive spectacle when Sky are involved. Mm-hmm. And all the platforms and social media and the viewing figures they get are astronomical. So to be a small part of that and get an opportunity to experience that is unbelievable, and something that I've been lucky enough to experience.
Definitely. And so Sky opens up a lot of opportunities to get big fights, and I was wondering if you have a possible date of when you'll be fighting next.
Well, as of this exact moment, I don't.
Okay.
Touched with my manager today, and he told me that he could hopefully have some news for me in the next couple of days. So if anybody follows me on Instagram, Twitter, any form of social media, keep your eyes peeled. As soon as I have any update, I'll be sticking it on there for everyone to see and to keep up to date. And then hopefully, whenever I get that date, I'll have a good support coming to watch me again. So that's all I can say at the moment. Just keep your eyes peeled, and hopefully I'll have some news soon.
Great. And so we've touched on your good elements of your fighting at the moment, and if you've got a fight announcement happening soon, so it means you probably won't be fighting. It probably won't be too long until you're fighting again. And so I was wondering, why should people come and watch you? What makes you different to other fighters?
Do you know what? That's a good question. It's a question I've never really been asked before. I'm a Scot. Mm-hmm. I'm by the flag for Scotland. I also live in Jersey in the Channel Islands. Mm-hmm. That's the two places that I reside. So, Jersey's the place I reside, but Scotland's always home. Glasgow's always home. So, if you want to get behind a big Scottish heavyweight, there's not many of us who's going to try and fly the flag for the country, and do the nation proud. Come and support me. I'm not perfect. I'm trying my best. I always put 110% into every training session I do. And like I say, I just want to try and represent my country, Scotland, and obviously I want to try and represent Jersey as well as best as I can, and get everybody in Scotland and Jersey behind me, and let's go for a few good nights and see where it can take us.
Definitely. And so this kind of ended it on the start of my next question. You said, let's see where it can take us, and I'm wondering, where do you think it can take you? How far can you go?
Do you know, it's a hard one. I don't really know. The only thing I will say is, however much I manage to achieve, it'll be exactly whatever I was capable of, because I put everything into my training. I really dedicate myself to the sport, and I try and live the life as best I can. I've said in a few other interviews that I would love to become the first ever Scottish-British champion at heavyweight. That would be the ultimate goal for me, and if I manage to achieve that, who knows? But like I say, I try and be as humble as I possibly can. I'm not a big-headed guy. I'm not running about saying I'm the best in the world or anything like that. I just want to give it my best shot, go as far as I possibly can, and achieve anything I can possibly achieve in the sport. And I train really hard. I dedicate myself, and whatever that is, I will achieve it.
Great. And yeah, you definitely do seem like a very humble person, but this next question, it might change that a little bit. And so I was just kind of wondering, if you could fight anybody at your level, as an active heavyweight, well, not at your level, no, any active heavyweight at the moment, and you can, I don't know, win a belt or whatever for it, who would you want to fight now?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it, to be honest with you. Like I say, I'm not one for calling people out or having any, Twitter beef or anything like that. I actually got asked today a question on FLTV, and the question was, bot or fight, spar, avoid, and it was Joshua, Usyk and Fury. Tell you what I told them. I said I would fight Anthony Joshua, because whoever fights him is getting a massive payday. And that always helps. So
definitely,
I would probably, if I could have anybody in the world on any platform, anything, you know, whatever you want to call it, I'll go with that answer that I gave to them today on the fight. Spar avoid. I'd fight Anthony Joshua because you're going to get well paid for it. Being one of the biggest fights on the planet. What the big man's involved in every time he fights. What a spectacle.
Definitely. Okay, and I'll leave with this final question. Well, you've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Do you know what? Just shout out to everybody for watching this. I appreciate it. Give my man a follow. I think he's doing well. He's trying to get up there in the YouTube world. Give him a bit of support, and also give me a follow on Nick A. Campbell 1 if you get a chance. That would be my message. Thanks for watching. Give my man a follow and give me a follow.
Great. Well, I appreciate it very much, mate, and your kind words are taken to my heart.
You're welcome, mate.
Great.
And keep it great to talk to you.
Yes, great. And maybe if you are ever having these big fights for the British titles, or you never know, if you do fight Anthony Joshua, maybe we can do a return interview then.
Anytime, just give me a message, man, and we'll get it sorted.
Great. Okay, well, if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and thanks for watching.